What if Mario Kart World had boss battles? This is something that I was really hoping for before the game even came out, and once I heard that there were going to be P-switch missions in the game, which kind of called back to Mario Kart DS's mission mode, I was really hoping they would also pull some boss battles like they did from that mode as well. There were some actually pretty fun boss battles where you just spam bosses with items, or you simply race them around a track, and I wish that Mario Kart World actually included that into their base game as well, but as of right now, there are no boss battle P-switch missions. But what if we added some? Because there's so many locations and so many areas of this map that feels like a boss battle could have spawned, and it could have actually been done pretty well. So today I have around 10 boss battle ideas that I think they could have added or still add in Mario Kart World. Real quick before we get started, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. We are trying to reach our goal of 400,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so let's make a goal. Let's see if we can get over 200 brand new subscribers in this video today alone. Thank you so much for your support, and let's dive into adding boss battles into Mario Kart World. So for the first boss battle I came up with is, what about a giant T-Rex or pterodactyl from the Dino jungle area? There could be a giant T-Rex, which is already in the game as an asset, but maybe you have to actually defeat it by hitting it 3 times. In order to damage it, it charges at you randomly with his mouth open or closed, and when his mouth is open, this gives you an opportunity to throw an item in his mouth like a bomb. It'll then detonate and blow up, and that will be one of the 3 hits. Doing this 3 times will defeat it, or you can do a giant pterodactyl, where there's a bunch of glide ramps scattered all over in a giant circle, and you can hit these glide ramps after grabbing your item, and then tossing an item in mid-air, hitting the pterodactyl and knocking him down on the ground, and then hitting him again. Doing this 3 times will defeat the boss. Next up, we have a giant water area that's already in the game that has a giant whirlpool. So why not throw a Kraken in there, or in this case, a Gooper Blooper? Imagine if there's just a bunch of tentacles sticking out in phase 1, and it's your job to drive around the giant whirlpool throwing items at these tentacles in order to knock them all back into the water, and they're all trying to swing around and hit you. And then for phase 2, the giant Gooper Blooper itself will come out of the middle of the whirlpool, and it's your job to hit glide ramps in order to throw items at its face or his lips, or to drop bombs down from above. This is actually made as a concept from a user on Twitter, and it would be a perfect way to actually use that whirlpool this time around. Next up, for the snow area, I thought about a giant Mr. Blizzard in the style of Paper Mario Sticker Star's Snow Rises boss battle. So it was this giant Mr. Blizzard, or really it was a tiny one, covered in multiple layers of snow to look like multiple sections of a giant Robo Bowser almost, but made out of ice. Something like that could be really cool, but this time just a giant snowman, and kind of like a Russian doll, after you just keep spamming it with items, it'll get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until there's just one little Mr. Blizzard snowman left that's throwing snowballs at your cart. And once you take out the snowman, that's the end of the boss battle. So you'll just keep breaking it down section by section, piece by piece. And it's something that I didn't mention before, but there won't really necessarily be lives or anything, or maybe they could just add a small little life counter for the mission itself, where if you get hit 3 times, the mission ends, or just straight up a time limit. But I just want to get that out there because I never really made those rules set in the beginning. For the jungle area, we could have a giant corrupted Wiggler, or maybe he's covered in that purple goop where he's not himself, but he's giant and angry, and it's your job to take him out by hitting him in each of his individual sections of his body with multiple items in order to turn him back into a normal, calm Wiggler. After you hit each segment, it'll turn from red to orange, letting you know that the Wiggler is slowly transforming. But after you hit each one, he'll then be back to normal and the boss battle will end. Next up, similar to the giant whirlpool we have in the water area, by Bowser's Castle there is a giant donut area, where in the middle is just pretty much a big lake of fire, but for some reason there's nothing in it, and there's nothing that's really threatening the racers as they drive by beside a couple of boom booms on each side. What if we threw in a giant Mecha Bowser in there? I mean, you look back at all the past Mario Kart games with Bowser's Castle, there are multiple of them that has a giant Mecha Bowser, so why couldn't they come up with one for this one? It would have made so much sense that you could have actually fought it. Maybe you have to attack his arms as they slam down onto the stage, or throw bob-ombs or launch shells off of ramps in order to hit the various pieces and parts of his body, breaking it down piece by piece, kind of like Mr. Blizzard's snowman, where eventually there's nothing left and it just breaks down into scrap in the middle of the lava. Next up, in the Ghost Haunted Woods area, we could have a giant ghost train, or like a Boo train, very similar to one of the final bosses in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, where there's a giant train and maybe you have to use your items to hit the various different train cards in order to eventually break the entire train down, letting it move a lot slower. Once this happens, this then allows you to drive along the rails and actually drive onto the top of the train, and then you can drive your way all the way to the front. Now this train will be a lot bigger, so driving to the front, you'll be able to dodge like lots of like obstacles and items that they throw at you, and different enemies like Boos kind of flying around or Peepas circling around. But once you get to the front of the train, you can then use an item to hit the weak point, which might be like an engine or something sticking out the top towards the front. In the desert region, you'll come across either a giant King Sandmarg or maybe even the Histocrat from Super Mario 3D World. For the Sandmarg, maybe he just swims around the sand like he actually does in the game right now, but he'll randomly charge at you with his mouth open, and it's your job to drop a bomb in his mouth or to hit him with items, or maybe just hit him with a bomb on the side. This will be very similar to the Molduga bosses from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but then for the Histocrat, it'll be kind of like a game of whack-a-mole. A bunch of little Histocrats will come out of the sand and you can hit them with items until the king or queen pops out, and then you have to hit them on the top of the head with an item or drop a bomb on the top using a glide ramp. Robo DK is currently an obstacle on an actual track with DK Spaceport, and it's kind of confusing to me how they never utilized that asset into an actual boss battle or something, because I felt like it could have been really cool. Imagine you actually fight it on the actual track of DK Spaceport. In each segment, he'll be at the top of each area, throwing a certain amount of barrels and different obstacles at you, and it's your job to drive up and hit him with an item at the end of each segment as he goes higher and higher and higher. For the final area in the final phase, he'll climb to the top of the actual space shuttle, very King Kong-like, and you'll have to take a bunch of glide ramps, vines, or even DK barrels in order to blast your way all the way up to him and fly to a final glide section where you can throw one last item at him in order to knock him all the way back down to the ground. Next up, this one's gonna sound kind of weird, but Bowser's car from Mario 3D World. Where Bowser doesn't have to drive it, maybe the car is now just sentient and it's like robotic or something. But I mean, if we're playing Mario Kart, why not like a giant robo car or something? But Bowser's car pretty much just drives in front of you and it drops a bunch of those soccer ball bombs, where some are about to detonate and some are able to be hit, and you have to bump into those ones in order to knock them into the car in order to destroy it, very similar to how you would in Mario 3D World. It will be a very fast and dangerous chase mission where you have to chase the car down, dodge all the enemies and obstacles it throws at you out of the car until you can actually hit all the bombs back into it and break it down on the side of the road to defeat the boss battle. Mario 3D World also has another boss that I think would work really, really well with Mario Kart, and that's Prince Bully. There's already bully enemies as obstacles in the game, even the ice bullies, so why not add Prince Bully as a boss battle? A bunch of pipes will appear and you have to just pretty much drive your cart into them and bump them around into these different pipes. Once you'll go through a pipe, it'll compress him, which allows you to then run him over in order to deal damage. You do this 3 times and he's dead. There was also a bully boss battle in the original Mario Kart on the DS, so it could be kind of the same physics thing where you're just bumping him around, but this time aiming him and knocking him into these pipes. But since we're on the topic of Mario Kart DS, let's pull some more bosses from that game and bring them back, like the Goomba King, where he could just run around kind of the Green Hill area outside of Peach's castle, and you pretty much just chase him down and just spam him with items. Maybe it's one of the first boss battles in the game. It's a really simple concept, and he just has a bunch of Goomba army minions that try to rush at you and stop you as you're chasing him down and hitting him with items. It'd be a very simple boss battle for them to add, and I don't see how that couldn't happen. And the same thing for King Bob-omb, where he's chucking bombs at you and trying to pick you up and throw you, which is making it harder to beat the boss within the allotted time limit. So you have to actually watch out for his grabs and his charges and him throwing Bob-ombs at you, and it's your job to hit him with items or throw Bob-ombs at him in order to get him to detonate and blow up. Or maybe you have to fill his gauge by hitting him with fire flowers in order to detonate him. But either way, I think that would work as a really quick and easy boss battle. Another boss battle I thought of for the Savannah area on the map, there's a lot of animals over there, including one animal that looks like a bulrush enemy or just a straight up bull. But what if it's a giant bulrush from Super Mario Wonder, where maybe you have to let it run into walls or pillars in order to knock itself out, and then you can throw items at his behind. Yeah, throwing shells at a bull's butt. That's how you take it out. But I thought that'd be a pretty cool and basic concept, kind of like taming a wild wild bull and letting him rush at different walls and pillars in order to just pretty much hurt himself. And last but not least, I came up with a bonus boss battle, which is pretty much 7 of them. Yeah, the Koopalings. They could have just at the very least, brought back the Koopalings, and maybe after you defeated each one in its own mission, you then was able to unlock that character. Would it have been so cool to have each of the Koopalings have some type of mech or some type of their own twist on a boss battle, making them actually feel useful and unique compared to the new Super Mario Bros. Games, and even unlocking them could have made for some fun gameplay mechanics. But yeah, I don't know exactly what each of their boss battles could be, but just using the different items and stuff that they have in their respective games, like for instance Lemmy's bouncy ball, maybe he uses it and tries to bounce you off the map or something and you have to hit him with items, but you get what I'm saying. I just think having the Koopalings there would have been pretty cool for this game alone. Overall, Mario Kart World's free roam was actually a lot of fun to me, but I felt like it was just missing something, and I feel like having some boss battle missions may have been exactly what I was needing in order to have an absolute 100% fun time with this mode. I don't know, but then you could also say these boss battle missions could have tied into an actual story mode they could have put in this game, so yeah, I guess it's just if you want to be nitpicky or not. But overall, maybe there's still a chance with DLC or updates in the future where Nintendo could add some more special missions that are boss battle coded, but we're just gonna have to wait and see if that ever happens with Mario Kart World, or are we gonna have to wait for the next game? But let me know in the comments down below if you liked any of these boss battle ideas and if you would add any other ones that I maybe didn't mention in this video down below. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and I hope you all have a blessed day, and I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.